I wanted to share a video today on Wyckoff theory. You may not have heard of Wyckoff theory before, but if you've been investing in stocks in particular for many years, I'm sure you would have come across it at times. It's basically a model that was created by a guy called Richard Wyckoff, who I will pull up on the screen now, uh, way back in the day. And he noticed particular patterns that would play out within charts through different phases of a market cycle, whether the market was going up, down, accumulation phases, distribution phases. It's all outlined on here. I highly recommend that you go through and get familiar with this and look at it, because you'll start to see the patterns play out within the crypto charts as well, in particular Bitcoin. The altcoins are a little bit more volatile, you might say, so the patterns might not be as clear, but certainly within Bitcoin, which has higher liquidity, you can see this pattern play out. I've seen it before. I saw it in the distribution phase with Bitcoin, and now I believe that we're nearing the end of the accumulation phase. So I'll get to that in a second. So in here, it just describes the five-step approach to a market: determine the position, probable future of the market, select stocks or cryptos in harmony with the trend, select stocks with a cause that equals or exceeds your minimum objective, determine the stock's readiness to move, and time your commitment. So it's really about timing. The commitment is the big thing that I see. He speaks about the composite man. It's just a collection of investors, you might say, which are usually institutional, and they try to do things at a disadvantage to retail investors. And he created this theory to basically help retail investors understand the ebbs and flows of the market. And he's broken it down into different types. So you've got your accumulation, where we're in the oversold phase, where I believe we're at. You've got the distribution, where we're in the overbought. And then you've got the mark up as we transition up through the market, and the mark down. And he talks about all these, the four different theories here, but the one that I am really interested in right now is the accumulation phase, because my belief is that we've been at the bottom stage of the market now for Bitcoin. Really, the FTX flush out that happened at the end of last year put us down to the lowest levels. And in 2023, from really January, from the get-go, we've had some really positive price movements within Bitcoin. I think we're about 75% up roughly, off the top of my head. So what I want to do, I actually want to share with you, let me just pull my mini drawing up on the screen. So I want to share with you the accumulation phase, because I think this is what we're looking at right now. So come down through here, through the markdown phase, you might say. We've bottomed out, and then we've come into what is classed as phase A in here, where we have a move up in pricing, and then we have a slight move down, and then we have this first peak here, or the second peak really in here. And then off of there, we come down to retest some lows. We have a bit of a movement back up, and it's never going to be exact. It's never going to look exactly like this drawing, but you can certainly start to pick and see where things move. So into phase B area, you can see how we have some peaks up, and we certainly have some moves down. Then we have this flush out that really comes into phase C, where we come and really test the bottom levels, and we come in, test here at the lowest point, we drive up, we test in here, and then we have this strong move out. Come and find into phase D some of the higher price levels, and then we come down for a bit of a test of consolidation in here, and then this move out. And that's what I feel that we're seeing right now. We're kind of transitioning, and you might even move this line slightly over. But I believe that we're now in that phase E cycle, where we're having this strong move out of here. We're getting some really good price momentum within Bitcoin. And I see this accumulation model really coming to an end now. We're in that phase E of the cycle, and I expect there to be some strong movement out. What I do want to say now, if I just bring this up into full screen, what I do want to say is I find that a lot of people are trying to chase some lower prices, and that's fine. That's an obvious thing to do, particularly on the weekly. I'm really seeing that people are trying to find and zone in on the 200 moving average on the weekly. So that just means every one of these green or red candles represents a week. And the last 200 represents the average price of the last 200 represents this red line here. It's a really significant indicator. We've been watching it for a long time, saying that when we finally break out of this, we believe that we're in a strong part of the market again. And we catapulted through there. And you can see that we're kind of sitting in this phase where we've broken through and we've come back in. A lot of investors are waiting for a retest of that 25,500 mark. And I just don't necessarily think that we're going to get it. And I think that a lot of investors are going to get caught out. I saw it in the first 6 months of 2019 when we went through the accumulation model exactly, the Wyckoff accumulation model exactly then. And we would a lot of investors were trying to find those lower grounds, and the price just kept moving and moving. And we can have a quick look at that in a second. But my advice would be, if you are considering entering into the market, it's okay to be entering in now. You can set some stop loss levels in there, which I can look at lower timeframes, but I wouldn't. You can have a percentage buy here, but don't try and be too clever and try and catch 80 or 90% of your investment down here and only have 10% in the market and move potentially this bigger move up, which could land us anywhere around this 100 moving average level. I will quickly have a look on the daily for you guys. So the 25,500 level you can see is around here. So I've got different moving averages. This is my 21 moving average on here. I do run a 21 exponential moving average as well, which just takes into consideration more recent market volatility and recent market movement. So I'll pull this one up, and I'm just going to make sure that it's adjusted to the correct settings. So you can see in here, just put input. I'm coming to change that. I really like the 21. I think that's a better view. So you can see it's slightly different to the moving average, it's slightly higher. Now, some people have had buys down at 26,600, and congratulations. That's a really good area of value in there that people have been accumulating at. What I would recommend is not trying to always pick the bottom price and be okay with moving in, and setting that you can move in and maybe set a stop loss down here so you don't have to ride it all the way down and look for a re-entry here. But I'm just trying to say, don't get too clever, because I think a lot of investors are right now, and they're going to miss a really good opportunity that might be presented here. So you can see in here, so this is really the first 6 months of 2019, Bitcoin went up 250%. And if we look at this very similar model here, you can see how the price came down, had a slight move up, came down for the flush, came up. And this is actually an even better example of the Wyckoff movement, where it came up, we had this second flush down, and then it gradually found a bit of consolidation, and then bang, there is the move of the candle, right? You can see that as clear as day. And if we fast forward to where we are, the accumulation model just is absolutely perfect to a T. Consolidates through here, bang, move out. And then, as you can see, it had a secondary move. It consolidated for a bit. So I think we might consolidate around that 30 to 32K region. And then I expect we might have another move up, which could put us anywhere into the mid to high 40,000 US region is what I potentially see. And again, this is, it's not an exact, but that's what I foresee. I do also expect that we might see a secondary move down. So if we do come to that high 40K region, I do think we might get a move down at some point. So don't think that we're smooth sailing and we're in a bull run, because we're not just yet. You might say we're in a mini bull market, but I just wouldn't get too confident as to our current positioning until we fully get that flush out. So if I kind of scale that out, this was the move that we had there, the consolidation, and then that move up to here, which the fractals, like, I'm just blown away by the accuracy of these fractals from, let me just take this off auto because my screen's running around with me. So you can see, this is my kind of target region in here. I think we're going to move up potentially to that low 40K region, just sitting in under some of this support before maybe we do have a pullback to test the low 30K region again, potentially. I'm rubbing my crystal ball a little bit on this one, but I really like the movements of how this pattern's just played out almost exactly through the accumulation model of Wyckoff of 2019. Here we are again. Here we are with the explosive move out, a bit of consolidation, and then potentially a move to the upside. So, yeah, I wanted to share this with you. Hopefully it's been helpful. I really am fascinated by the Wyckoff theory. I think it's just played out over and over again through accumulation and distribution in particular. So do learn more about it. Certainly keep your eyes on it and watch how the market moves in the upcoming future. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully you got something out of this. Ciao.